I had a tough time deciding on a battery and the type of on-off switch I'd like to use with this headlight project from April of 2023. I eventually decided on the 9V battery and 3-pole rocker switch you see here. I'll finally get back to work on this long overdue headlight project next. The 9V battery I picked up comes with a standard Tamiya connector. You may not remember, but the standard Tamiya connector is also what I used for the headlight as shown here. Since both of these parts are ready to plug in as is, the only part left to complete is the rocker switch. This is my rough sketch of what the completed circuitry should end up looking like. As mentioned, the battery and headlight portion of this drawing are already done. The only part that needs work is the switch. I'll be combining these parts to create the switch portion from the sketch. I'll start by combining the black wires from each of the Tamiya connectors. I'll first clip them together into the position I need them to be for soldering. To make soldering easier, I'll also prop up the clipped wires using a block of wood. While heating the wires for soldering, the iron was a little cold, so the solder didn't flow as easily as it should. Later, off camera, I did fix the glob of solder once the iron got hotter. Last of all, I'll cover the completed soldering with a piece of heat shrink tubing. I prefer using a lighter for heating the tubing because the lighter is small, cordless, and portable. My soldering skills are terrible, so rather than record video while I struggled to solder the red wires to the switch poles, I decided to record once everything was done. Here's the results of my efforts. It took me about 15 minutes to do just this, but I think it came out okay. These are the disconnected pieces that make up the headlight system. I like the idea of combining pieces via Tamiya connectors, a very simple and durable connection. As mentioned when I did the video for this headlight, I'm using mode 12, which is made up of 4 light intensities: dim, 5%, 25%, and 100%. When the light is turned on after being off for less than 3 seconds, it turns on to the next intensity in the sequence. When it's turned on after being off for more than 3 seconds, it turns on to the last intensity it was on. I was able to find a ready-made compartment to hold the battery and connected on-off switch. The blue travel soap dish fits this particular battery almost perfectly and still leaves enough room for the switch and wires. I did make some modifications to the soap container. I cut a rectangle-shaped hole on the long edge to hold the switch. I also drilled a hole for the Tamiya that connects to the headlight. Luckily, the rectangle cutout in the compartment is just large enough to fit the Tamiya connector through it, but yet small enough to still hold the switch securely. I'll run the switch wires into the compartment and the headlight connector out through the round hole. You can see how securely the switch snaps into place. Mounting the battery is pretty simple. Just drop it in the cover section of the compartment and connect the Tamiyas together. The wires I used are thick and moving them out of the way was tricky. Be sure none of the wires are crushed when closing up the compartment. I'm using Velcro to hold the compartment to the existing battery compartment. This Velcro is a wide 2-inch strip that holds pretty securely, so I'm not too worried about the compartment falling off. In the future, I may look for a pouch to strap to the frame. I think that might be less obtrusive and easier to walk around when doing maintenance on the rest of the Jetson. I have one thing to mention about charging the battery that I didn't think about until I did it. I unplugged the Tamiya to the headlight and plugged the charger directly into it. Charging this way required me to turn on the on-off switch so the circuit to the battery is completed. If on-off is left off, the power from the charger has no way to charge the battery. I like my new headlight mostly because of the different intensities of light to choose from. I rarely use the dim or 5% setting. I mostly keep it on 25%, which should last 5 hours on a new, fully charged battery. I randomly switch to 100% when needed, but that depends if the situation really calls for it. I hope this headlight project is something you can use to make your riding a little brighter and safer. Leave your questions and comments in the comment section below. That's all I have for now, and I'll catch you in the next video.